In Texas. She's been in Houston since she actually came to the region to participate in a residency at the Houston Center for Contemporary Craft. Before that, and still ongoing, I think Susannah's participated in more residencies than anyone I know. I think over 24 in the past like 5 years or 6 years.
Thanks for the bump.
Yeah, no, but it's amazing. So definitely is working nationally, internationally. Yeah, she actually studied, originally she studied environmental art at the University of Art and Design in Helsinki, now Aalto University. But if you're interested in actually seeing where Susannah works, she's a member of Box 13 ArtSpace, who I'd mentioned earlier downstairs with Tim's show. Susannah has a studio there. They regularly have openings. It's an artist-run space. She's a studio in the back. And this work and this show you can tell us more about. But I don't want to like lead into too much. We were talking like this week, because I was like, well, this group of shows, it's like how they sort of talk to one another, and I kept saying like, it's like squished grids. But Susannah put it much better in calling it tangled geometry. It's like where everyone's sort of working in that way, looking at planes and looking at these different uses of materials. But tell us a little bit about these guys, I guess, in that.
Sure, and just to start, I thought squished grids was amazing. But I guess we appreciate one another. So I would like to take this opportunity to answer the questions that I get asked most frequently about my work. And so to start, what's the material? And I think especially in the context of Galveston, this work can evoke nets, kind of frozen in action and in space. But the stuff is actually discarded air filters that I removed from the cardboard housing, and also took off that fiberglass backing that they come on. In some cases, the material just slipped right off of the wire mesh, and in others, I really had to like scrape it off. And I remember being so disappointed and upset that so much of the fiber was remaining on the mesh. And what's funny to me now is that those are exactly the sculptural elements and the pieces that I like the most, having applied color. And so one thing that generally surprises me, or I shouldn't say that, I work with found materials, and so I'm always kind of building up collections of things. So when I started working with air filters, it was like the first time that it ever really occurred to me to work with that material. And so I think that over and over, depending on what I'm working with, I'll be surprised in that way, or have a kind of change of heart about enjoying what the material is doing or capable of at different points. Like something that I don't see as a benefit in the beginning might become one later.
Where did you find the air filter?
Oh, this is a great shout out to the Houston Reuse Warehouse, which is a place where you can bring items that you don't want, and those associated with nonprofits can pick stuff up. So I've got quite a large haul of unused yet also unwanted air filters in a variety of different sizes there. So I'm always sourcing material in different places. The Houston Reuse Warehouse has been a pretty reliable source for strange kind of things you wouldn't think of, including these air filters. They have a lot of windows and doors and other kinds of construction materials, for example.
After you moved to Houston in an earlier project you did, it was like, I always keep an eye out for like a quantity of like things that are like the same. Yeah. Like there's a box of these plastic knives, but there might be 1,000 we don't know what they're for. It's like Susannah would really love these. She probably could make something out of these, like multiple sets.
Yeah, and you've led me to different materials too. Through like, would you want to use this type of text message and photograph?
Yeah.
So that's been nice. The another question I get a lot about my work, not just this piece, is what is it? And there was an installation in particular that I was working on a couple years ago, and I was approached by a man who asked me that question. It was another piece, a large-scale kind of geometric work, and I was like, well, it's an abstract sculpture. And he looked so disappointed and was like, oh, I thought it was a molecule. And like walked away. And it was like the irony is, like, he was disappointed that it wasn't something specific, whereas I thought the whole great and amazing thing about abstract art is that it could evoke different things to different people, and that there's like this openness and sort of.
I thought this was a chain of monuments.
Now you have to like leave. Yeah, I mean, I understand that, and I welcome all the different kinds of reactions and associations that I think here, you know, again, not to talk about Nats again, but that's going to be like an obvious reference here in Galveston. So, I guess another question I get asked a lot about my work is, how long did it take you to make that? And I appreciate the interest, because usually, you know, you ask that question when something, maybe it's something you haven't seen before, or it looks like a lot of effort, perhaps. But the only way that I answer that is my whole life, because it's more poetic than saying, well, on and off for 2 years. But it's also like a better way of responding to just the path of the creative process, which may start in one place and finish in another, but has just this infinite amount of different temporary destinations and byways in between. Another time, I guess, someone that I kind of know, like, looked at an installation I had made and was like, this took you 2 days to install. And it wasn't even like make, it took me 2 days to install. And I was like so offended by that at the time, and made all these excuses as to like why it takes so much time. But really the answer to her question is yes, it takes the time it does. And I think now my attitude would be more of flattering, because if someone can't believe that it takes the time that it does, it means you've done something to make it, like, even in the slightest way, make it look effortless. And so I do appreciate that. Just on a final note, I feel really lucky to have had the opportunity to come here and create this small world, and I really appreciate the role the Galveston Art Center had for me the opportunity, and for you all for sharing in that by coming out tonight. So thank you. Thank you.
You answered a lot of questions.
I think I did. But if there's any other,
come
up to me individually.
Yeah, come say, and y'all enjoy Art Walk, enjoy the